All right, a very warm welcome to the second episode of Hands and Heels here on the Jumper Punch page. I'm Paul Sebastiani. We've got Vince Loccisano, who joins us from last week, fresh off tipping a golden trip each way at the long odds. Well done to you, Vince. And we've got a very, very special guest who's going to join us throughout the Spring Carnival in the form of Adrian Daher. You can catch all his handiwork too on the Weekend Grill. AD, hello, mate. Welcome.
Fellas, how are we? Thanks for having me.
G'day, boys. Good to be with you.
Yep.
It
is, mate. It's the best time of year, isn't it?
I must have a hard act to follow if Vince is tipping fucking long shot winners.
Gold trip.
I've got to be on my game. Gold trip 30-1. Mate,
I did suggest a bit each way on him last week, so
you should have seen how inflated the super tab was, Vince. It was $30 because they included the Hong Kong pool, and it's like paid $22 Betfair SP. It was incredible.
Unbelievable.
Crazy stuff, mate. Well done to you, Vince. Let's see if we can find some winners like that. We're going to be covering the Caulfield Guineas meeting. We're going to focus just on the Everest at Randwick, which is their golden prize up there this weekend, and then we're going to wrap it all up with a bit of harness racing from Melton, which we will be frequenting, you and I, Vince, with the whole Carlton gang this weekend, which will be good fun.
It should be a great night down there at Tabcourt Park in Melton, and
that's the best.
And it's great to see that it's got to be Spring Carnival. It can't not be the Spring Carnival because it's absolutely bucketing down with rain as we speak. So that'll probably throw all of our tips out the door, won't it?
No, we've got it for us. We've got it for a soft 6 tomorrow. I think it'll land in the soft 6.
Okay. Yeah. Yep, they would have.
So long as they haven't got a heavy 8.
No, exactly
she won't be heavy.
Exactly right. The weather up in Randwick's going to be fine as well. Very warm day. AD, just before we get into the Caulfield meeting, the track is set soft 6. Where do you think they're going to? Is it up and off or?
Yeah, so soft 6, Paul. I don't think it's going to be any worse. The rail's back into the true from the previous meeting, which was 6 meters out. New Caulfield surface, as everyone probably would know, they've relaid it. I suspect it to be typical Caulfield rail in the true, which basically means you probably want to be in the first 6 or 7 from the sprints. Circle races is a little bit different. Typical 1,600 meters. You probably, if you're drawing a bad barrier, you want to get a posse. I think you can get back and run on. I think it'll be tempo related, but I do think you're getting a bit more of an advantage if you're in the first 5 or 6 in the run. Obviously, the from the rail to 6 meters is fresh grass, hasn't been used. But yeah, a lot of the stuff that I've done is predicated to those that are on speed. I always give them, or I think most people do as well, give them maybe a length to their name. But look, don't discard things that are gonna get back. A lot of it will be tempo related, and depending on how chopped up the track gets, you might see in those like later stage races, like in the Toorak and in the Guineas, where they start making their moves early and they're going to come out wide. So, but early on, I suspect it'll be, on pace, as you said, or as everyone well knows. Yeah,
love it. All right, well, we're going to go through races 1 to 10 at Caulfield to commence proceedings here. We'll start with the first, shall we? Bet Grand Handicap Race 1. Even field, Kettle Hill's a $5 favourite, and then we've got Matron Bullwinkle at $6, Maktub at $8.50, a couple of other runners in single figures as well. Let's start with this, AD. Tough race. Kettle Hill will probably settle a little bit closer than it did last start. Better jockey, better barrier, but I reckon he might just seem a little bit of a chaser rather than a winner at the moment. But I've got him on top. I can't find anything in this. Maybe Maktub each way settles closer from a middle pin.
Yeah, well, it's funny you mentioned that Aladdin Zara horse with Blake McDougall, Maktub. I mean, what's it now? Roughly about $8.50 or $9. I think the market's got it pretty spot on. I mean, that was probably the one that I thought wasn't taking up as much section in the market. I did think Kettle Hill was taking up way too much section. Basically, what that's implying is I think it should be a lot longer. You got the map right. Maktub's probably the one you want to be on. I mean, I haven't had a bet in the race, but just looking at the maps in front of me now, it seems to me the one that probably maps well what rhinoceros is probably going to go forward. Kettle Hill from Barrier 5. The thing with Kettle Hill is he has options. You know, if he wants to push forward, he can. If he doesn't want to push forward, he can sort of sneak back. I suppose the other one as well you want to watch out for, just from a mapping perspective, is Red Sun Sensation, horse number 5. That's probably the other one I'd be keeping an eye on. But in terms of pricing and all that, for starters, I haven't had a bet in the race.
Yeah,
I was going to have a bet if it did get to slightly a little bit longer, maybe Mac 2. I thought $8.50. I mean, it is value to my numbers, but my numbers are not to 120%, which is what the market's set at. Numbers are sort of to 99 or 100%. So I probably need to get to about $10 or $11 to have a bet. As you said, Paul, you know, Kettle Hill, you know, it's second up now. Second up now. I mean, they may have given it a fitness run, Paul, first up. Like what it's settled like back in the field, first up over 1,300. So I don't know. I mean, it could possibly need the run. To me, it looks like a horse that they're going to set up for the Flemington week, third up. That's just my opinion, but I could be wrong. Look, I mean, no knock on the horse, but I mean, what, $6 market price across the board, across most boards at the moment? I've got it. Yeah,
not for me. These trainers.
I've got it $7.20.
Deeper in their prep for these type of horses with these type of trainers and connections, I think. Vince, did you have an opinion in this, or are you letting this through?
Well, yeah, I'm probably going to give it a miss, but whenever you see $6 favourite amongst two horses, equal favourites, you know that just about anything can win. You know, if I was to have anything at all, I might just have a little bit each way on number 11, Far Flung.
Well, Shinny's the only one with balls. Like a lot of these jockeys, no one's aware. I know Paul would know, but in Melbourne jockey room, like Blake's the only one who's got balls. Like if there's a race, if you have a speed map, Blake's the one that fucks all your speed maps because he's the only one that actually is happy to take a fucking race on. But he's in good form, and Danny O'Brien's in good form. So
well, I do like him as a jockey. So I mean, but I'll probably stay away from the race, to be honest.
Yeah, that was idea. Let's move on to race 2. Interesting one. We've got a Queensland raider here. App and Girl gets the barrier blanket as well for the first time, which is interesting. She's All Shenanigans, been well backed. Fragile Love as well at $6.50, and then Serasana at $8. I think they're the only runners in single figures at the moment. I didn't really have a major. I think all the Melbourne form is a bit pooey. This App and Girl's jumped out pretty nicely at Flemington AD, but exposed. She looks pretty lightly framed from what I was looking at, but maybe that'll suit her in the wet weather. I think she'll roll forward. She's got the right jockey, but I mean, she's priced accordingly. There's no value in her price, I didn't think.
No, look, there isn't. You're spot on there, Paul. There isn't any prizes there with their price, and the same with the top weight. She's All Shenanigans. Like we're genuine good chance to get an each of two here. So I reckon both these top two have a very good chance to get rolled. App and Girl, you're right, did jump out well, but to me, 3-year-old filly by Capitalist, like they're probably going to go to the Coolmore, just judging by it. He's only had a 46-day let-up, so this might tick her over. I do think, as you said, I think obviously she is the class horse, but I'd be interested to see how the number 8 and number 9 go. So number 8, Excess for Julius Sandu, impressive first start, winner over 1,000 metres, but my numbers doesn't like when they go from 1,000 to 1,200. It just doesn't seem to warm to them. I mean, look, it's got barrier 1. It's probably going to lead, and then Sheva, the Ben Will and JD Hazels might get the last drop on them, and you know she's $14. I know she ran 13th last start, beating four lengths or so, but 2 She's All Shenanigan, but I'd probably disregard that particular race. And look, I'm slightly against the top 2 in the market, and it's just pricing. When I say I'm against them, Paul, I know you're well aware. Vince, you're probably aware too. When we say that we're against them, we're not necessarily saying that they can't win. It's just from a price point standard. You know, like what App and Girl, I've got $3.30, and that's to 100. She's All Shenanigans, I've got $3.80. I mean, I think the 8 and 9 Excess and Sheva are probably the 2 value in the market. I know that the prices have sort of been sniped there. It's not me. I haven't had a bet, but there's still some value in those in the number 8 and 9 in my opinion. But yeah, again, I'm happy to sit back.
Bits, anything in this? Hell Queen gets a nose roll first time as well, and as I said, Appen Girl gets the barrier blanket. Anything you liked here, or are we going to?
Oh, if anything, I like the top weight. Funnily enough,
Yep.
Which is second favourite, but again, it's one of those races. I tend to like to watch the first couple of races just to see how the track's playing and that sort of thing. And these races tend to be a bit hard to pick a winner. So, if anything, number one, but not with a lot of confidence.
Yeah, no, fair enough. That's
just quickly, Paul, before you give your tip, if you're having a play, I'd be interested to see what Damien Lane does on the number 6 on Fragile Love. I think it's probably the joker in the race. If you want to put it in that perspective, I think he has options. I mean, as we know from that shoot start, you can be 3 wide there with cover.
Yeah.
And springboard off the turn. But, I mean, he's got barrier 10. Damien Lane's not really an aggressive rider. I mean, he likes to put him in the 1-1 in good position, but he's not going to leave it posted. So I do think he probably holds the key to this particular race.
Yeah. He'd probably go forward on this one, wouldn't he?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna suggest and say he sits midfield with cover, maybe 1 by 3. So
an awkward gate, isn't it? It's just an awkward gate sometimes. Especially at Caulfield.
I mean, look, it hasn't gone forward at all this prep.
Yeah.
So it's been sort of parked, all settled back in the field in its 2 runs this prep. But he does, in my opinion, he does have an opportunity, if it presents itself, to sort of push forward a bit here. Because,
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I concur with you regarding the 980 as well. I think the drop back in distance last start, I don't think was an ideal scenario for her.
Right.
I think getting back up to 1200 is going to be much better. And
they've always had a high opinion of it, Paul. Like, it's a good horse. And don't look at how far it got beaten last start. It was beaten 4 or so lengths against as she's all shenanigans.
They get lost up the straight too, these young horses as well. Like, you can't underestimate that as well. Sometimes they prefer the rail too. Look, I had 2 on top, but again, it's not a race I'm overly keen to get involved with. Let's skedaddle along, shall we? Very intrigued in this race because this is the golden ticket into the Caulfield Cup. Herbert Power. We've got a really likeable type here in Carini at $2.40. Braden Star 360. Military Mission for Hong Kong Zhao for Moreira, the king from Hong Kong, comes down here and actually riding okay at the moment. His first couple of stints in Australia were pretty poor. Daquin Sweet Jr. I know Brian Martin, he's got a little share in this one, so big shout out to BM. And United Nations, another chance as well at 650. For me, look, Carini's one of those ones, AD, and you would know the market really likes these type of lightly raced, European import, down in the weights, inside barrier, connections as well. The win at Flemington last start. My only query is I have no idea what's going to happen from the inside gate. And my fear for this favourite is that Braden Star might just get the run before it. That's how I'm seeing the race play out.
Yeah, well, I think you're spot on. I do think they're going to push forward. Or not push forward. I don't think they're going to want to lead. But he's stepping up from 17 up to 2,400, which for these Europeans doesn't seem like a big reach.
No issue. Yep.
I just think it was massive. Like, before it won last start, it was off a 300-day spell.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what she ran first up at Caulfield over 1,400. Clearly, distance didn't suit it. But with these stayers, it's important. What you want to look for when they resume from a prep is their first up run. It's massive. It'll tell you a lot about how they're going or how their prep will go. It doesn't mean it's going to tell you they're going to win every race, but it'll give you a good indication, a bit like Solcombe when it won first up at Caulfield with Blake Shin. It'll give you a good idea as to how they've returned. The inside gate, Paul, in reference to that, I mean, I think it has to push forward, to be honest with you. Look, the race looks bereft of speed. United Nations for me is he's ready to win. I mean, it gets Yendel, gets 53 kilos, it's had the run at 2,500, so it's had that sort of fitness run, and it just probably has the fitness edge. Again, haven't had a bet in this race, but Carini, I think they're going to take on. I mean, I know you said that they warm to it, and they do. First prep in Australia, third up in its first prep. I can see them taking it on.
Mm-hmm.
I think it probably gets close. What is it now? 240 most joints.
$3.
Probably gets closer to $3 at the death at the knocker. Mm-hmm. So Braden Star, I don't think Braden Star can win. Who do I think are the winning chances? Well, BM's horse, top weight, Dacky and Sweet Junior, I think it's got a massive hope. And I think United Nations, along with Military Mission, are the three. I'd be happy to let Carini and Braden Star go around as losers. But yeah.
Very interesting. Like it. Yeah, I had. I think the price about the 8 is rock unders. I like it as a horse. But in this particular setup, $2.40 with a lot of fit horses around it. No thanks for me. Did like the 9 as well. But yeah, no, I'm staying out of this one anyway as well. Unless if the 8 gets out to something like $3+, I think it's a play. But nothing.
But then I suppose as well, Paul, that's a fair point you raise. I suppose you got to ask yourself as well, like if it gets to that price, do you really want to be on it? Like, I mean, it's gone from 2. I know. Yeah,
of course.
That, exactly. Horses need to find their right price.
Yeah.
But how much of a drift? It's a good question for anyone, really. I mean, we ask ourselves this all the time. And how much of a drift is bad, or how much is good? But,
exactly right. No, spot on. Vince, what did you have in this, mate?
Yeah, I can't tip anything with a lot of confidence, although I am impressed with Carini, number 8. I think it is a very impressive type. If I was going to have a bet, I'd probably just put a place bet on the 1. I'm pretty confident that Brian's horse could finish in the top 3 in this race. So that's the way I'll go.
All right, like it. 1 to run a drum with Blake Shinnerboard. I like it. All right, very good, very good. Let's get on to race number 4, shall we? Drifting favourite, Red Card, getting out to $2.90. Bit of money for John O'Connor. Big shout out to Matt O'Connor, his nephew. He's a big fan of the jumper punch. So that's Matt O'Connor's uncle, is John O'Connor. Won very well.
I met John O'Connor. He was a trainer in South Australia, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's got
big Carlton.
He's got the 5 here. He's got the 5.
Good to see him still going.
Yeah. He's got a not a bad horse. A horse in good form at the moment. Won well first up. Rose Quartz at $5.50. Sarah Des at $6. She dances $9, and that's it for the single figure runners. Hey, do you have an opinion here?
Yeah, I do actually. This is where my first bet comes in. So I want to be on number 7. She Dances. Linda Meach and Peter Moody second up. After racing 1100 at Sandown. Like Linda's going to lead here she will lead. Second up, she'll be finished. She rode a hot speed first up, and I expect her and Red Car to slacken the pace. Now, Red Car's obviously drawn wide after finishing 4th last start. I think, look, Red Car or Moreira is probably going to try and eyeball it and try and match it with her in the straight. But I reckon if Linda can hold out Moreira and lead him, I don't think Red Car can win. Magic, if Moreira is sitting outside of her from there, it's going to be a tactical battle, and Moreira is going to be content to sit outside. I don't think he's going to force the issue. If he knows he's up on the speed, he's not going to force the issue. And She Dances can click it up when she feels like it. And the swooper I want to watch out for is Rose Quartz. But, the problem with her, and I have with her, is she hasn't won since February 2022. And I know that means nothing to a lot of people, but, she might get her chance tomorrow. She's been backed in the market, so she's had some money there to support her. But I want to be on, and I am on a little bit, not for everything I wanted to get on for, but, the number 7 each way. I think if Linda controls the tempo like I expect her to, I don't think she misses a place. Obviously, we can get it wrong, clearly, but I'd be happy to take on the number 2 Red Card, which is the current favourite, and be on She Dances number 7 each way.
Yeah, Vince, what did you like in this one, mate?
Yeah, I like the 8. I like Rose Quartz, and you can get good each way odds there for that particular runner, and that's the way I'd go with her.
Yep. Okay. I did like the 8 too. I was warming to the 2 Red Card. Now the map's the big question mark here. The query.
John White.
Yeah,
he's not going to Paul. He's not going to be able to cross her.
That's the question
he won't
mark.
Be able to cross her. No, he doesn't have. It's Moreira, mate. He doesn't have the.
He's not aggressive.
He doesn't have the balls to be aggressive and drag her across. Like if he gets in a fucking shit fight with Linda Meach, Linda Meach is not handing up the lead to her own mother.
No, yeah.
Like, she's not. He's just not it's just not having it. I mean, I could be wrong.
I love it.
I completely agree. The one I liked each way, who I think is just going to get a nice drop on them. And she was just exposed a little bit, I think, last start. And she ran against red card, Sarah Des.
Sarah Des, number 6.
Yeah, I think she's just going to get that nice little. She's going to get the Blake Shin 1-1. She'll pop off, and I reckon she might be able to track red card into the race. She's going to be like a 1x3 type of play here on the 6, Sarah Des. I think she's just going to get. I think she's going to get one of the runs of the race, to be honest. And I worry that if Moreira tries to push the issue up front, which he probably won't, but I think just the query on She Dances just might be the 1100 up to 12. That just might be the.
No, I don't know. It won't be an issue with that. She's won at 1200 in Sandown in a 3-year-old race. I mean, I do agree with you with Sarah Des, Paul. I think Blake. I think Blake has this race. He can do what he wants to do. If he wants to, as I said, throw all the speed maps out at the window, then he has that ability. If the other two, Red Card and She Dances, want to play jockeys, and Blake can just swoop around him and just go, no, I'm happy to put some pressure on you. But what's funny, Paul? Just quickly on the 2. Yeah, Moreira's half a chance. Moreira's half a chance to actually sneak back here. I expect him to sit outside and ride shotgun, but Moreira's actually genuinely half a chance to sneak her back and sit fucking in the last 2 pairs.
Yeah, they could very well be that too. Maybe that's where the drift is coming into the fact that they don't think this red card will get an uncontested or easy lead, because that's probably pretty much the only way I think it can win.
I don't think it's going to lead.
No, I don't think it will either. Unless Moreira suddenly grows a pair of aggressive, he's a cute cuddler though. That's the problem. He's a cute.
He rides too cute. He needs he's like a less aggressive version of Blake Shin. So Shinny loves that sort of sweet spot along with Damien Lane, jockey wise. But Moreira's just, it's like he's too scared. Like
I
don't know. He's
happy to be against 2. 6 for me each way here. Race number 5. This is a very intriguing race. Uncommon James and Aspora completely dominate the market here. Uncommon James with the blinkers for the first time, second up. Aspora comes back to the scene of the crime where she won first up. Chain of Lightning's an interesting runner first up at 850 and Ingratiating 850 as well. And it's pretty much millions for the rest. Interesting race, this. How did you see this, AD? We get Lombardo, who's a sort of a left of field runner who can invariably run okay, can potentially stuff up the maps here for maybe Aspora and a couple of others by pushing forward.
Yeah, look, you said it's very complicated or interesting. I think it's uninteresting. I think it's a 2-horse race, fellas. I think it's between Uncommon James and Asfura. I'm probably team Asfura. No bet in the race, simply because just happy to watch it go around. There's just no value at those 2 prices. But Uncommon James may have the drop on her. If Mitch Aitken can sort of make sure that he's got Uncommon James within sight. I know he's probably going to be Uncommon James probably going to be behind her.
Yes.
However, I do think Asura's, I think she's airborne, just obviously price-wise, very, very short. So not much of an opinion. I think the market's got it right, fellas.
Yeah, but, I think it does too.
Can't push you into it. What's the point? It's a 5-4 shot. Like.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, good luck. I think her run last start in the Group 1 was she had to, those runs, and people say, she had one of the runs of the race, but when you're following a donkey in the 1-1 and you have to make the 3-wide run before you probably want to, and she had to cart up Uncommon James into the race, and I know he gets the blinkers, but I think she's absolutely airborne, this horse. She's going so well, and if she does drift to be the second favourite, which she might very well do, she's worth a play. She's on top for me, the 7, but again, I mean, good luck, 225, whatever.
No,
Vince?
There's no prizes there, is there? Like
Whatever. Vince.
Oh, just to be different, I'll go for the 2 because it really is a flip of the coin.
Yeah, it is.
It's a flip of the coin. It really is.
You know what's funny?
You know what? Why don't we just go to Quinella and just collect?
You know what's funny, Vince? There are some punters, you could give them $2.50 a flip of a coin, they'll still lose. How can you lose given it?
I'll ask for a bonus.
Hey, Adrian, you're talking to one of them.
you telling me you can't be that bad, mate? You must land the Nord on the every time.
I'm not that bad. I'm even worse. Anyway.
Fair enough.
Intriguing to see how Uncommon James goes with the blinkers for the first time. I'm not too sure about it this late in its career. But don't know. Could spark the horse up and improve it, or it could
And
leave
I
it
wouldn't totally discount the one either. But
Yep. No, fair point.
bit of an each way. If you don't like the odds on the other two, maybe each way on the one, and you might collect.
Very
It's
interesting.
It's the one I got a bit shorter. So Curran, Lombardo, Key Largo, and Home Rule, they're all longer. In grey shading, I've got about 720, 710. So something there.
Yep. Okay.
Blake Shin, James Cummings.
Very interesting. Stalks them as well from the inside gate.
Yeah, I think from the inside barrier gets them. Yep.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the next race number 6. This wouldn't be out of place on a Wednesday, given the way these horses are going at the moment. I know Buffalo River's been well backed. Ed just didn't come up last prep, $4.40 favourite, and Rubamos is $4.80. A couple of other runners around the $7, $8 mark. Minx Moment, Regards Marie, Biometric as well. Interesting race. Has been gelded, which is interesting. Minx Moment gets the brow band, which is something Waller's used a few times on these type of horses. She was scratched last week at the barriers, and Biometric blinkers off as well, first up. Interesting race. I thought there's one down the bottom here that's been kept really, 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 really safe, and I was very intrigued to see how it might go. Look, the connections are... you look at the connections, you think, how are they going to win a Saturday race? But I didn't mind its run last start behind Strip Back at Bendigo. Buoyancy. Something very, very small each way, the 11. That's how I'm playing this race. That's how I looked at it. I don't think... Look, Ayrton's got this incredible track and distance record here, but I just don't think he's come up. I think all these horses are a pull on each other. Biometric, Ayrton... Buffalo River needs it its own way out in front, and I don't think it's going to get that, or it might again roll to the lead. But had all the favours last start. AD, how did you see this race?
Yeah, first and foremost with these type of races, you obviously look at to see where the favourite is and what you've priced it. And I can tell you now, Ayrton, there's no way Ayrton starts with a 4 in front of it. It starts closer to $6.
Yep.
So that's probably gonna go for a buff. I have had an each way bet here. I've backed the number 10 Vernelli for Winona Costin, Gay Waterhouse, and Adrian Bott. Backed it off its last start. Ran against Antino. I think the drop back in distance will suit. It's probably going to lead as well. It's rock hard fit. Looks to get a good run. I think that Antino race. I know Antino struggled it needed the whole length of that Sandown straight to get past the winner, but I'm pretty sure that race is actually going to stack up. And as I said, I just think with Ayrton, it's unders. As I said earlier in the show, not saying it can't win, but I think closer to sort of $6.50, $7 is probably the right price. Yep. I think it probably starts $5.50, $6. No knock on the number 9 Rubamos or Biometric. Buffalo River, I've got a bit of a query on. One last start, 20-1. It led all the way. It's probably not going to get that on Saturday. I think Vernelli's probably the better horse. I think it's a better bet given the price differential between them.
Yep.
And I just thought $23 about Vernelli was overs, and each way happy to be on it with some confidence as well. So
nice.
With in terms of the bottom one, Buoyancy, I've got that slightly shorter than what it's marked as well. I've got it. $14.50. So, look, somewhere around the mark. But I do think with that horse, Paul, I think it'll drift. So if you want to back it, I'd probably wait.
Yeah. It's connections that I don't think market's really going to...
but no, the thing with Ben Brisbane's in form. He's... Is Ben Brisbane horse? No, sorry, Matthew Enright. Matthew Enright. Sorry, Ben Brisbane trains a lot of those. My mistake. I think you'd be better off waiting. I think so as well. If you want to back it. But
Vince,
don't like this race, Paul. I don't like it at all.
Yeah,
I'm not even going to give you a tip. If I was forced to give you a tip because I had a gun at my head, I'd just say put $5 each way on number 5 and pray.
Yeah. Look, you could do worse than back Shin and Waller from barrier 5. Could do much worse.
It's not the worst hope that number 5 either, fellas. First up last start at Flemington. I just don't think it's sort of settled on that straight. I don't think it had its way running down the straight. It may have got lost. So it could
just a little bit each way. That's it.
All right, there we go.
Okay.
This is a very intriguing race. Gay Waterhouse and Adrian Bott dominate the market here. Alligator Blood versus Just Fine. Just Fine has been the one that the market has honed in on very early in the markets. This is such a good race. US 480, and that's pretty much it for single figures. Market's just really honed in on 3 runners here. People, this is interesting, AD. People question Alligator Blood's form at 2000, but his run in the Cox Plate last year was fucking enormous. He was enormous in the Cox Plate last year. If he brings that to this race, he'll fucking brain him. But the query is, does the 6 take him on? That's the question. I think the 6 is too short for mine. I'd prefer to see this type of horse do it at weight for age level in Australia before actually taking a price about it. But yeah, I'm with the 1, but 235. Again, whatever.
No, look. There's I expect Alligator Blood to win. I think it'll drift, but there's no prizes with that short quote. Stablemate Just Fine. So going for 4 in a row. I mean, have to be very good to win 4 in a row. I mean, it's not running 4 in a row in the bush. It's 4 in a row. Yeah. It's going in metro class. I mean, this is its first try at weight for age. I mean, I'm not sure if its UK form was weight for age, but in Australia, it's never run at a weight for age, and it's going to be a test. I do think it's short. I mean, look, there obviously they're probably a lot closer than what the market did suggest. So Alligator Blood at the time was $2.20, and this thing was $3.80. They're probably $2.90 each of 2.
Yep.
So I mean, yeah. Look, it's probably just a price standpoint. I'm not interested in the race.
Just Fine.
I did think that Lindemann was slight overs though, but that's about
it. Just Fine had done all its racing overseas in handicap grade, so no real weight for age form. Lindemann was all right last start. There is one improver I think here that is over the odds. If you wanted to bet around Alligator Blood, there's one that I think will definitely improve, and that's the 5. He's a shocker. Just ignore its run last start. Don't worry about its run last start. Barrier 16 was just barrier beat it really. Don't disregard it. Number 5, he's a shocker. Maybe for multiples or something small each way. Vince, yourself?
I'm an Alligator Blood fan, Paul.
Yep.
I love that horse. Never gives you a dull moment. I'll tell you right now, whether it's at the barriers or even getting to the track.
Yeah,
I remember once in Queensland they had all sorts of trouble.
Got held up in traffic?
That's the one.
How good was that?
It's never a dull moment with this horse. So
that was great.
Put your money on and start sweating.
Especially
exactly at that price. But I do like it, and I think its class will get it over the line. But I'll be very interested after tipping Gold Trip last week for an each way bet. I'll be very, very interested to see how Vow and Declare, another Melbourne Cup winner from 4 years ago, comes out. It's already had one run, but I don't expect it to be in the finish this time. I'm not going to tip it this week.
Alligator Blood on top. If it somehow gets out to 290, I would say worth a play. But something very, very small each way, the 5. I think Duas is taking up a bit too much of a percentage in the market just from where I think it'll map from the barrier. That's how one clearly on top for me. I think the 6. I want to see this horse do it in these conditions first before diving into $3.40. But again, for me, something small each way, number 5. And if the 1 gets out to $3 or $2.90, I think it's definitely worth a bet. Let's get a wriggle.
You assessed it pretty well there.
Yeah. Let's get a wriggle on to race 8, shall we? This is an intriguing race. We've had the scratching of Nunthorpe opens it up for Wishlaw Lass to just completely control this race. Barbie's Fox, an interesting runner. I don't know where it's going to get to in the run. It's $4.60. Papillon Club finds a bit of an easier race. Foxy Frida second up. Our Red Morning gets blinkers for the first time after pulling up lame. I really like the win of Wishlaw Lass last start, but this is a bit of a more of a difficult assignment. But I just get the feeling she's going to completely control this race on the speed with Damien Lane, and deserves to be favourite. But 260 is not something I'm particularly fond of at the moment.
I don't mind that trainer either, Paul. Do you?
Yeah, he goes all right. Good man. AD, what'd you like here?
Nothing, mate. I don't like the race.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No.
I'm being straight. I don't like the race.
Mate, mares going around. It looks a little bit difficult. Like I said, I had 10 on top, but 260 is not. There's no.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a few scratchings there, so he's stiff. I mean, would you have backed it at 350 with Nunthorpe in the race?
No.
No,
because I don't think it'll get control. That's the thing.
Yeah. Even if Nunthorpe was still in the race.
Yeah, if Nunthorpe, because I think Nunthorpe would have gone forward and Whistle Lass was going to go forward, and I want Whistle Lass to control the lead. And
it's definitely not. It's definitely not going to be able to control it. So very, very. Well, I mean, I don't see it that way, and clearly you don't see it that way either.
No, potential improver. The 13 Tajneed with the winkers going on for the first time. Just keep an eye on it at long odds.
He's overs.
Yeah, I think something tiny each way if you had to really twist my arm. Vince, nothing here for you, or were you keen on anything or not?
Oh, look, I like the 10, like you do. And, yeah, it's favourite, but there's a reason for that.
Yep. I think this is one of those races where it's looks an even bunch, and it might just be a case of, well, the leader just wins because they're all relatively at the same level of talent, and the map just says, "Oh well, you're at," so nothing else can really make ground on you. So that's how I assessed it anyway. Let's get on to bigger and better things, shall we? This is the race they're all here for. Bill Guineas, what a race! Militarized $2.70 favourites. The Party $4.20. King Colorado $7.50, and that's pretty much it for single figures. There've been a few nibbles at longer odds. I'm going to start with. I'm going to land on Militarize. Yeah, interesting. 270 I thought was way too short for me. I really warmed to King Colorado. I thought the last start it was given none. It had a gap in between runs, 35 days. Jason Collett just, I don't know if it was a butcher job or if it was just he wasn't at the races. Started shorter than Militarize. I like the running behind. All reports from track worker that he's working really well and draws a beautiful gate. Michael D on board, up to the mile. I think he's a fantastic each way bet. I think he's at 750 and 245 or 250. I think he's going to thrive in this race, and he's the one that's just going to blend in either in that 2 or 3 wide running line with a bit of cover, and I think he might just say sayonara at the 250. I think I'm very keen to be with the 3. AD.
Yeah, fair enough. I think it'll drift. Paul, I'd hang on if you want to back it. I mean, it's an open field. I think you're spot on about Militarized. I do think the one they're going to take on is Stepardi. I mean, this horse has been taken on every race this prep so far. And by all reports, I reckon out of all the 3-year-olds that could potentially go to the Cox Plate, Stepardi. I mean, we know that they love backing 3-year-olds in Cox Plate. Stepardi and Kovalitsa up in New South Wales, the Chris Waller horse, are probably the 2 that are going to head that way. I didn't mind the number 10 Wolfie. I haven't had a bet in the race. Someone's beat me to that price. I wanted to take the 30s. It's not $30 anymore. But whoever's back that, I would have landed on Wolfie on number 10. No knock on the 2 favourites. No knock on yours, King Colorado. Even field. Full capacity field here, guys. Like 15 horses. Anything can win it. King Colorado is probably going to lead, Paul. V8 maybe on the fence. If it didn't draw a barrier 1, I probably would have been enticed to back V8 or Vate.
Yes.
For Damian Lane and Tony and Calvin McAvoy. But, yeah, look, Wolfie was originally the one I had at good odds, but I was not able to get the price. So, yeah, I'll let it go.
Yeah, price driven. Vince, what were you with here, mate?
I like the 4. It's the Party, the one that you just mentioned, AD. I think its form is impeccable and just keeps raising the bar, this horse, doesn't it?
I agree. No,
he's that type of trainer, Paul Prushka.
Yeah.
Prushka.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of the name of that horse he had a few years back.
Surprise Baby.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Here comes the baby.
It, and when he gets a good one, it normally just keeps winning. And I'm prepared to back it. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
I reckon, Vince, similar to King Colorado, like I'm telling you, boys, I think they're going to step into the top weight here.
Yeah.
Right. And they're probably going to step into the 7 and the 10 again.
Yeah.
With the 3 and 4, King Colorado and Stepardi. I mean, I'm not obviously punting advising you blokes are smart enough to do what you want to do, but I reckon they're both going to drift. So maybe best tote. But yeah.
Yep. Interesting. The other runner I thought, which was a very intriguing runner, and when these Justify colts get up towards the mile, they invariably go.
They grow another leg, mate.
Yeah, and I'm intrigued. What really intrigued me when I went and saw the gear change, I saw blinkers off, and I thought, okay, all right. Now you want to really get this horse to get up on. I reckon get up on the speed, get its sharpness up over those shorter distances, and then take the blinkers off to get him to really settle in the run. Each way for me, 8, 3 and 8 each way. I just think, Centify is going to get a beautiful run from the barrier, and I reckon at $20. Fuck. I mean, these just I like blinkers off. I think it'll settle in the run, and I think it'll be somewhere there near the finish. To be honest.
Yeah, I don't think
good
you're far
odds.
off.
Good juicy odds.
Yeah,
that's fair.
Just with the run, it's going to get blinkers off, the breeding as well. And I love second prep for these 3-year-olds as well. I think getting to these type of levels in your first prep can often be a bit too hard, like Rock Empire, the Dad, Southport Tycoon as well.
The Dad might be looking for the Derby pull. I keep an eye on it. It might actually go. I think they're going to try and go to the Derby with it.
I think it'll. Yeah, when it debuted and won that maiden, that was the first thing I looked at. Derby.
Yeah,
Derby.
I'm pretty sure they go to the Derby with it.
Yep. Don't be surprised to see that scooting home down the outside. I would have been back. I would have backed it in this race had it drawn a better barrier. But it's one I think I'll keep an asterisk on for the future, definitely. Let's get on to race 10, show the Turek handicap. I'm heavily against Amelia's Jewel. I just think wait for age handicap. Yeah, I just $2.30. It's the first time she's started in a handicap Group 1 here on the East Coast, and not for me. I think something down in the weights potentially can get the job done here. Something like Pounding could win, something like Pride of Jenny, even Amenable here to shock. Charterhouse was an intriguing runner too. I'm not prepared to take the price with Amelia's Jewel. AD?
Yeah, I think you close. I think Antino's ready to peak on this race. Obviously, if I've liked Vernelli in race 6, that's come out of the same race as Antino. Tony Gollan, grand final days, just got a ring about it. Barrier 17, only knock. Thought its run last start to the eye was slightly demoralising. We've touched on that earlier. Don't read too much into that. I think he's ready to go. Amelia Jewel, for fuck's sake, she's come up short. Like this, we're talking about a horse that's equal favourite in the Cox Plate. I understand that.
Yeah,
she's $4.60 for the Cox Plate. She's $2.40. $2.50 for tomorrow, and I get that she's broken the clock, and a lot of the computer boys love her. She returns good numbers, etc. I just thought she's rank unders. She's never really been one of mine. I mean, look, she wins, that's great. But look, I thought there's that 6 horses that can win the race as a handicap. I'm looking at Pinstriped, I'm looking at Antina. Antina's one I got on top purely from a price perspective. I look at Corner Pocket, Pride of Jenny. Charterhouse, as you mentioned, Paul. It's a lottery of races. Haven't had it been the race, but I suppose wasn't far off back in Antino.
Yep.
Happy to be against the favourite.
So am I. Vince, we thought against the favourite.
No, I'm a bit frightened by the favourite's price as well. I like number 6, Antino again. Yep. I'm a bit of a Blake Shin fan if you haven't been able to establish that yet.
Blake.
But
love
again,
Blake
you
here,
get good each way odds here, and I think it's a very good chance of running in top 3. That's for sure.
Yeah, no, I think it's the only query is just the barrier, but like you said,
and we lost AD.
No, I'm here.
Really?
Oh, right.
We've still got to miss his camera.
No. I'm here. Boys, I'm here.
I know you said you had to leave by 7:10, and I thought he's gone.
No, mate, I was texting someone. I got someone waiting for me, but I'm here. I told them to wait 10 minutes, right. So we're all good. We're here.
That's for me. That's all. I think that's all that done from a Turek perspective. If I was I'd be playing something small, odd horses at long odds. For me, it's 10, 15, 16. And something small, the 5 pounding. So at long log odds, have a little peanuts on those type of runners, I think. Pounding, Pride of Jenny, Amenable and Charterhouse. Something very, very small on those runners at long odds. Let's get a wriggle on too, because I know you've got to wrap up, AD. You've got to skedaddle. The Everest favourite at the moment is the Joseph Pride horse. It's a winning machine. It is, what price is it in the market at the moment? $4.
Oh, I reckon they might flip here, Paul. Sorry, I reckon you'll find the toppy will end up. Yeah.
Yep. They're equal favourites at
Yeah.
the moment with Top Sport. What I'm looking at here, think about it, and I wish I win. I warm to the 3-year-olds here, lads. Cylinder, Blinkers first time, barrier 4. Love Blinkers back down in distance, and I think they're the ones to be with. I think all that 4-year-old and 5-year-old and 6-year-old form. Against it, I'm with the 12 heavy each way Cylinder. AD?
Yeah, look, overpass leads easily. You can lead at Randwick and win there. The notion of you can't lead there and win is just bullshit. It's just a false pretense and assumption. I wish I wins barrier. There's a lot made of it when it came out that it was a negative. I don't see it as a negative for that particular horse given its pattern. Barrier 1, I think, will suit the horse. Private Eye, if they do it too hard up front, I think he's probably the one that'll just go over the top of them. I'm also not discounting Espiona for Chris Hall and Hugh Bowman. I have her slightly shorter than her current quote. She's $16, $17 most joints at the moment. I've got her about $11, and she's value. But obviously, none of us, we can't bet till 9 a.m. So I'm going to have to wait. But Espiona is probably the one that's overs. The one I think that's taken up way too much section in the market, and I mean I understand, but that the second Joe Pride horse, think about it. It's currently $460, $480 most joints. I probably think it's closer to a $7.50 shot. But yeah, I'll be waiting for tomorrow morning, and I'll be backing Espiona each way. But no knock on yours, Paul. Cylinder, 3-year-old, great chance. We all know that. But yeah.
Love it. Vince, who are you with here, mate?
Well, I'm actually torn between the two favourites, to be honest. And if anything, I remember when I backed So You Think in a Cox Plate, and she came through for me. So
he.
Sorry, I beg your pardon. He did.
Greatest
I can't misgender the horses.
We can't misgender.
I've already been warned about that.
You can't misgender horses, mate.
That's so good.
So I'm gonna go with the 3. Think about it. It's well drawn. I hear what you say about the 1 and the barrier 1 not being a problem for that. Look, could very well win. But yeah, you got to make a choice. If I had to make a choice, I'd say number 3.
Okay, number 3. Think about it. There we go. All right, that's a wrap for all the thoroughbred stuff. Best bets for you guys at Caulfield, or even maybe in the Everest. What did you have as your bets, AD? Just before we let you go.
No, that's okay. I've only had 2 bets at the moment. I have backed Caulfield race 4, number 7, She Dances each way. I haven't got on for what I wanted to get on for, so I will butter up and I back it again tomorrow. The one I've been able to get on for my max volume is race 6, number 10, Vernelli each way for Winona Costin and Gay Waterhouse. They're the only 2 bets I've had at the moment. And tomorrow in the Everest, after the scratchings, obviously, I will be backing Espiona each way. Something small, not quite as big of a bet. But yeah, look, the one I want to have more on is race 4, number 7. If you ask me for my best, Paul, I'd say She Dances at Caulfield, race 4, number 7 each way.
Love it. Absolutely love it. AD, you can trot off, sir, because you've...
well, I'm going to... When's this going up? Because I want to watch what Vince says, but I sincerely apologise.
No. You said that.
That's all right.
We'll have this up by about 8:30, 9 p.m, mate, and then we'll repost
tonight.
It Saturday.
That's very nice of you, AD. I knew someone
I actually want to listen to it.
No, I knew someone would eventually come along and want to hear what I forgot to say.
No, mate, don't be so hard on yourself, mate. You've survived this long in the industry. You must be half decent. But yeah, anyway, fellas, I do appreciate it. And let me know when it goes up. And I will be watching it later tonight. I just I have another appointment. I apologise.
Go, mate.
Sorry. No worries.
Appreciate it, mate. Thank you very much.
Take it easy, fellas.
See you later.
Cheers.
There we go. The great man. Great AD. The great AD. So those are his best bets for Caulfield in the day. For me, Vince,
I was just going to ask you for your best bets at Caulfield.
Yeah, I think for me, Caulfield, I'm really just warming to King Colorado. I just think he's going to run. I think he's just going to run so well. I'd like this start. His setup wasn't great last start. I think he ran much better than the way he was set up, and he started shorter than Militarized in the race. Whereas Militarized was well set up to run well, and King Colorado he had the gap between runs. I just think really, really good each way bet race 9, number 3, King Colorado.
Okay, in the big one,
the other one,
the Caulfield Guineas.
Yeah, and the other one I really liked each way, and I think we'll just get a little bit of a better price on the day. Race 1, number 8, Maktub. So those are going to be my two best Vince. Race 9, number 3, each way. Also have something on Centify in the Guineas. And also race 1, number 8, Maktub, each way as well. Those are the ones that I'm going to be playing tomorrow. What about yourself, Vince, at Caulfield or the Everest?
Well, I've also got a special for the what do they call it? The Guineas, I should say.
Yep.
And I really like it. Number 4's the Party.
The Party, all right.
That's the one. That's the only one I'm going to go with because it's a feature race. But I'll leave the real best bets on the thoroughbreds up to you, Paul. I think people should take more notice of your tips and AJ's tips than my tips.
No. You got us one last week, mate, with Gold Trip. So keep that up, mate. Let's get on to Melton, shall we, sir? We're going to be venturing out there on Saturday night. Now, the races we're going to go through, we'll go from races 5 through to 8. So we've got the Aldebaran Park Bill Collins Trotter Sprint. We've got the Victoria Derby Final. We've got the Victoria Cup, which is the feature on the night. What a cracking race that is. And then we'll wrap it up with a Oaks Final, which is going to be a beauty as well. Let's start with the 5th, shall we, Vince? Because we've got an intriguing runner, not by her form and her price, but what people actually call her. Is it Queen Elida or Queen Elida?
Generally called Queen Elida. I know. I always go by Dan Malecki's calls. So Queen Elida, which has been in impeccable form.
Yes.
Picket fences against its name for the last 6 races.
Yep.
Had a spell in between the last 3 and the previous 3.
Yep.
In fact, she's won 8 out of her last 9 races. So an impeccable record. But I've got to say, from gate 8, which is the only horse on the second line, because, of course, at Melton we've got 7 horses across the front, she'll have to follow out the other big player in the race, if you like, Olivici, number 1.
Yes.
Now, Olivici is reasonably good out of the gate, but don't be surprised if number 4, Mufasa Metro, goes hell for leather for the lead. Right. And if it gets the lead, that might put Queen Elida 3 back the fence. Mind you, there's only the 8 horses in the race, so Chris Alford would no doubt try and take the opportunity to get out eventually. Look, there's got to be a reason why a horse like Queen Elida is only $1.95 at the moment. I mean, that horse with its record should be $1.50, $1.40. But from that draw, I think she's vulnerable. And Olivici won't have to go around a horse. Even if he does get crossed, he will only have the sprint lane to have to contend with in the home straight, even if Mufasa Metro does get the lead. So I'm going to actually tip the 1 in a bit of an upset here. So Olivici, number 1, to beat number 8, Queen Elida. And I'm throwing in I'm Ready Jet. I'm a big fan of this mare. She's a quality mare. She's at very juicy odds at the moment, $14 fixed odds on Super Tad. And 1 over all, the Greg Sugars run up for 4th. So should be a hot pace. 1, 8, 5, and 6 in the Bill Collins Trotters Sprint. And what a great caller he was too, the accurate one.
Yep, the great man. The best, if not the best ever, to be honest. I'm with Olivici too, number 1 here. I think it can either, as you said, if Mufasa Metro doesn't want to lead, it can kick up and lead, or it can take the sit and then peg Queen Elida 3 back the inside, which can often be a death trap in harness racing. Let's get on to number 6, the Derby Final for the 3-year-olds. We've got Petrarca, not Christian. It's the number 10. It's number 10 in race 6 at Melton. It's the $2.40 elect for Emma Stewart. The Real Sherlock for Greg Sugars and the Purdon stable. It's $2.60. And the other runner in double figures at the moment, or there's 2 runners in double figures. We have got the 12 Lost Storm, and we've got the 1 Captain Hammerhead. How did you see this one playing out, Vince? Petrarca in sparkling form at the moment, but drawn a touch awkwardly.
Yes, the market has decided that this Petrarca is the best and fairest of the race as well, even though Christian Petrarca won the best and fairest at Melbourne, I believe. Look, I've really done a lot of homework on this race.
Yep.
And I'm actually going to go away from the 2 favourites here.
Okay.
Captain Hammerhead, number 1, with David Moran on board, will not, as I said, will not have to go around a horse here. I think he's good enough to hold up and keep the lead, or if he decides to take the sit, he'll have a lap full of horse when it comes into the home straight, David Moran, and I think it's a really good each-way bet. Number 1, Captain Hammerhead. It's currently showing $7.50 and $1.85 on fixed odds. I think I'm prepared to back him from that draw. He's done it tough in a lot of previous races, the last couple of races, including the Eureka over at Menangle. The draw, again, didn't suit. I think from this particular gate, Captain Hammerhead's a really good each-way bet. I'm prepared to back him on that. From number 7, the Real Sherlock, which will be right in the race. You can be guaranteed that it'll be right in the finish. Definitely good enough to win the race. Greg Sugar's driving for the Purdon stable. They're always a danger coming over from New Zealand, the Purdons. And I'm actually going to put Petrarca, number 10, in for 3rd. And number 8, keep a watch on this one. He'll be following Captain Hammerhead. Oliver Dan with James Herbertson driving for Emma Stewart as well. So he'll have another soft run, probably either behind the leader or 3 back the fence. And he'll be running on very strongly at the end of the race as well. And there's another one there, which I'd love to tip you, called Our Vincent Can Go, but it's 150 to 1. So I'm not prepared to do that. That probably just shows you how this Vincent can go. Anyway.
In the softy anyway. I was with the 7. I like the different form here, Vince. I like the New Zealand form. He's shown that he can run really well at this track and this track and distance too. Started really short prices as well when he did come to Australia, and I think he's a fantastic chance here. And I think he's drawn to get the run before Petrarca, which is the big thing here. I think the 7 will start favourite. And
the only other thing, as I say, he starts outside the front row, so he's going to have a bit of work initially. Yep,
I'm not too fussed with that, because you've got, I mean, if you look at the horses drawn inside, so you've got Captain Hammerhead, right? But then you've got Duke's Choice, 150 to 1. Rosanna Rebel, 100 to 1. Our Vincent Can Go, 150 to 1. Louis Luai is 80 to 1. So he's got the potential to either, if those horses want to go hell for leather, he can just drop in, and he's going to have a better sprint, and he'll be able to sustain the run far better.
I think what he'll do is he'll let them settle, then he'll come around them and take the death chair. He may even push for the lead, and you never know. David Moran may even hand up to him. Yes. But I think that the 1 and 7, the 7 and 1 Quinella is a really good bet.
Like it.
That's the bet I would be going with, because you're quite right. Either horse could win.
Yeah.
And of course, Petrarca will be running on, but he's going to have to do it tough from the second row.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm going to be with the New Zealand horse here. I think Sugars will just give it a lovely run. Okay. Race 7, the Victoria Cup. This is what we're all here for. $300,000 worth of prize money up for grabs. Leap to Fame, $2.10. Rock and Roll Do, $3.90. Better Eclipse for Greg Sugars and Jess Tubbs at $6. And that's it for the single figure runners here. Leap to Fame, he is an absolute star. He's just a model of consistency. Grant Dixon brings him over here from Queensland. We know how good he is. We don't have to harp on about him. He's a star of racing at the moment at this type of level. But I just I can't really see anything beating him in this race.
Huge runs. Huge runs in the Queensland Pacing Championship back in July, and these were the ones in defeat, mind you. And also, of course, the Everest back in early September, where, of course, Encipher won that big race. But again, huge run by Leap to Fame in both of those races. And every other race he's contended, he's shown his absolute class and run away from them. So he's going to be up to this in his ears. I've actually tipped him to win. I just think the class will prevail in the end. He's drawn front row. I think Better Eclipse with the draw is a good thing to finish in the placings. So if you really want to have a sure bet in the race, I think if you bet on Better Eclipse for the place at least, I think you should get a return on your money. It's currently showing $1.90, almost even money for the place, drawn 1. And this horse just won the Kilmore Pacing Cup at its last start. I reckon that's really good value for the 1. The only other winning chances, I believe, are number 4, Rock and Roll Do, which is a bit of an enigma, this horse. At times he looks like an absolute superstar, and at other times, when he's had to do it really tough, he's faded and, finished 4th or 5th or even further down the track. So it's really hard to know what he's going to do on any particular day. But I assume Michael Stanley's got him right for this race. He is drawn front row, so that will certainly help. And the only other one is, of course, in Cypher, the winner of the Everest. Not the Everest. Sorry, the Eureka. I got the wrong E word. The Eureka back in September. Huge run and in great form, but drawn second row. And that's why you can get $21 and $4.20 for the 12. Huge each way odds for that horse. And he certainly will give you a sight at some point during the race. I'm not a fan of Captain Ravishing. I know they've changed the driver as well to Nathan Jack because they couldn't get Greg Sugars because he's got his own horse to drive. 2 other horses that I'd normally say would be a factor, but they're drawn badly in the second row are Act Now and Spirit of St. Louis. Don't like them from the draws. So realistically, I think the race is going to be won by either 1, 4, 5 or 12, and they are my numbers. I've gone 5 to beat 1, 12 and 4.
Okay, like it. Yeah, I was with the 5 as well. He's just in sparkling form at the moment. I think anything over even money is probably worth the play, to be honest.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the final one that we'll look at. Race number 8 is the Oaks Final for the girls. We've got a favourite here, Major Delight. $2.30. Joyful at $4.60. Sahara Breeze drawn the inside at $3. Sweet Bella for $8 at $8, and that's pretty much it for single figures at the moment. I was all over the one here. Sahara Breeze, I think it's going to get a beautiful run from the inside gate. I think the puppet will just land it in a lovely spot. And I think she just gets a far more economical run than the favourite, number 10, who's going to have to do it tough from the second row. And market saying that the $2 was too short, out to $2.30. 1 for me, Sahara Breeze here, Vince.
Yeah, look, and we'll be right in the finish, no doubt about that. And got the puppet aboard. One of the best drivers over the last 40 years, Chris Alford. And I can understand why you like it and why you're backing it. I'm actually going for Major Delight. Having said that, number 10. I think her form is impeccable. Again, only the one failure in the last, 8 starts, and that was the second about 4 starts ago. Otherwise, just cannot criticise its form. So on that, I'm not going to tip against her. So Major Delight, number 10 for me, in a what should be a ding-dong finish with Sahara Breeze. And as you said, could go either way. So yet again, my suggestion is here. If you're not really sure, just go to Quinella and you should be able to collect. Although I wouldn't rule out number 8, Joyful, who I've tipped to come third, and that will follow out the 1. And for my 4th pick, I went for number 2, First Dance, with Greg Sugars. Good each way odds for that horse, and in good form too. But you can't put them all in. So my numbers are 10, 1, 8 and 2.
Lovely. All right. So that wraps up races 5 to 8 at Melton. Your absolute best at Melton for Saturday night, Vince. What did you like?
Right. Well, my best for Melton is where are we? Sorry, just give me a second.
Yeah, no, absolutely no rush.
Yeah, well, I was very keen on Captain Hammerhead #1 each way.
Yep.
And that's in, of course, the Victoria Derby, the feature race.
Nice.
Or one of the feature races.
Yep.
And of course, and I've got another one in Leap to Fame. I really do believe that this horse will win. So it's Captain Hammerhead #1 each way in race 6 in the Victoria Derby or Derby, and the number 5 Leap to Fame for the win in the Victoria Cup race 7. That's the Group 1 $300,000 middle distance classic.
Yep.
There is another Group 1 race 2, by the way, which is the Victoria Trotters Derby, which is race 4, but we're not going to have time to go through that. But for what it's worth, I think number 3, Rockin' With Attitude, should win. Even money favourite.
Love it for the miles camp. All right, there we go. So that's what's that? That's race 4, number 3 as well. Love it.
Yep.
Absolutely love it. I will see you at the track at Melton. For those as well who are listening to this, if they want to come out to Melton, by all means. The Jumper Punch crew is going to be out there. Mars, Rocco, you, myself, Peter Brown's going to be joining us as well. My old man is coming along as well.
Fantastic.
So there's going to be a group.
Looking
of us
forward to meeting Gino. Should be good fun.
He's looking forward to meeting.
Can I throw one more in before we finish up?
Of course you can.
I hope you don't mind me being a bit sneaky here. Gloucester Park tonight. There's a feature race called the James Brennan Memorial. It's a Group 2 race worth $100,000 over the long distance of 2,536 metres. And I've got a little each way special for you. You should be able to walk away with at least a place collect. Hopefully, with the right run, maybe even take it out. Number 10, Diego. Now, this horse won the West Australian Pacing Cup earlier in the year.
What race is this? What number?
This is race 5.
Yep.
And it will go at 2 minutes to 11 tonight.
Okay.
So hopefully we get this show up before that.
I think we should be able to.
So number 10, Diego, to be driven by Madison Brown, drawn in number 10. Now, of course, at Gloucester Park, they've got 9 across the front. So this horse is drawn to follow the 1. The 1 will be right in it up to its ears, Jumping Jack Mac.
Yep.
And Steal the Show number 3 with Denny Roberts for the Bond Camp will be the favourite at $2.60 at the moment. But I really believe over the long distance, you need to be on those horses that are on the fence. And I did say this last week, Paul, and they came off. Remember I said Minstrel? I was very keen on it, and it won. Yep. And I said the one behind it will just slip in behind himself. And the other horse that followed behind was Mighty Ronaldo. And those 3 horses filled the first 3 placings in the race. Yep. So I really believe that if you want to collect something on the race, be on either the 1 or the 10. But I think the each way odds on Diego are really juicy. So I'm going to be backing that one a little bit each way. Number 10 in race 5 tonight at Gloucester Park.
Love it. All right, beautiful. That's a wrap. Episode 2, Hands and Heels. We're done and dusted, sir.
We are.
Caulfield, Guineas, Everest, Melton. Little tip for those at Gloucester Park. Hopefully, this all goes up before we get to that. Pleasure. See you at the track tomorrow.
Well, I was just going to say, for all of the people that live in the southern and eastern suburbs, they can go out to Caulfield and look at Paul Sebastiani and go and say hello and get his autograph and have a photo with him at Caulfield. Are you going?
I won't be at Caulfield tomorrow.
Oh, you're not going? I thought that was your favourite day.
It is my favourite day, but I'll be watching from home, mate, the comfort of home.
Okay. Well, then you can come out to the western suburbs with us.
No, that's not the worst idea.
That's in Melton. We should have a lot of fun.
We will. No, we absolutely will. Facebook, Instagram, follow me on Twitter as well. We'll post this up and on YouTube. Like, subscribe the Jumper Punch page. And that'll do us, Vince. We'll be back to do it all again next week. Looking forward to it, mate. Cox Plate, here we go.
Good punting.
Good luck. Thanks very much for listening and watching, guys. Appreciate it.